7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is a public hearing by the Zoning Board of Appeals, Town of Granby. Representing the board are Andrew Badu, Tom Caputo, Suzanne Yuha, Lynn Bunglow, and Dave Roberts. Will the secretary please read the legal notice of the meeting?
Yes.
Oh. I'm sorry, should I give me a couple more minutes?
This first one?
No.
Or this one?
Right there.
There will be a public hearing conducted by the ZBA on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Granby Town Hall Meeting Room, 15 North Granby Road. To hear the following items. Appeal by Michael and Janet Caruso seeking a side variance of zoning regulation section 8.1.6 to construct an above-ground swimming pool, 200 North Granby Road, file Z07-24-03. The second is an appeal by Mary Gobelli seeking a side yard variance of zoning regulation section 8.1.3.2 to construct a 20 by 24 detached garage, 73 Bushy Hill Road, file Z07-24-04. At the hearing, interested persons may appear and written communications will be received. Copies of the proposals are on file in the Community Development Office.
Okay, we have the minutes of last month's meeting. Are there does anybody need a moment to go over them, or, okay. Are there any additions or corrections? Okay, motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Okay. Here's how we operate. I'm sorry?
We've got the motion and the second.
Oh, approved.
Abstain.
And I also abstain.
Okay.
I will, there.
Well, we can do it later anyways. Okay, here is how we operate. We hear the appeals in the order of the legal notice. You as applicants explain the application to the board, introducing any exhibits you feel will help us make a fair decision. Speakers can speak on behalf. Speakers can speak in opposition. Applicant may rebut opposition. We as board members will, of course, ask questions. Speakers will give their name and address before speaking. So when you come up to the podium, please give your name and address. When we reach a decision, you will be notified by certified mail, usually within 10 days. Granting of a variance or appeal requires a yes vote of 4 members. If we grant your variance, be sure to record it with the town clerk within 90 days. Okay, so the first appeal is by Michael and Janet Caruso.
Good evening. My name is Michael Caruso. I live at 200 North Granby Road. We installed an above-ground in-tech pool on the side of our property without knowledge that we needed a permit to do so. We had called the building inspector out there to ask him questions about whether or not we needed a fence around it. And because of the height, he said it didn't. But he did tell us that we didn't have a permit for it. So it's installed. To us, it was the only logical place we could put it because of patios and decks, and the septic system takes up a lot of the area. And so we're looking for a variance because we know it doesn't meet the pool offset off the property line.
Okay, when you say the septic area takes a lot of the area, do you have any kind of, can you show us?
Well, I can.
You got a little map, but it was kind of,
Yeah,
here it is.
I didn't have an as-built. The town doesn't have an as-built of the septic system, so I don't know exactly where it is. I know the tank is 10 feet off the house,
Did you?
but the septic field itself is,
Did you go to Farmington Valley?
No, I didn't think I could go. I didn't even know about Farmington Valley.
How long has this pool been installed for?
Just this year.
Just this year?
Yeah.
You got a letter in April, though, explaining that the pool, I drove by, the pool looks open.
Yeah.
Okay, in the
Nobody
letter,
swims in
though,
it.
he
Yeah,
had
we did get a
clearly
letter.
stated that
Yep.
you were not to open the pool or use it.
Right. We didn't open the pool. Nobody's been in it all year.
Is it covered?
No. It's got a locking ladder on it, so, nobody can climb up the ladder and get into the pool.
So you don't have any idea on this map where the leach fields go? Or anything?
No, not really. I have an idea of where it is, and it's behind the trees. If you look at the plan and there's to the east of the pool is a stand of trees, and I know it's behind that. But that's it. That's all I know.
And what about behind the stand of trees, putting the pool there? I mean, I
That's
guess
where
my
the-
question is, I know you
I think
said
that's
we
where the septic
felt,
field is.
but you don't know for sure.
Not for sure, no.
And this is, did you put this pool up yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one of the ones like you put up
Yeah,
and
it's
take down.
what are the Intech pool?
Anybody else have any questions?
Actually, maybe we should. Maybe not questions of the homeowner, questions when we start talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
You've asked all the questions that I was going.
Yes.
Here's the
Oh,
septic
if you
field.
have,
No, you've already
I
asked
have one
that.
for you.
Yeah.
202 Walker Fancher property owner, sir, your butter.
Yep.
Any questions with them about the pool?
No. No. They have one themselves, so no questions about it.
So I did notice though that you had like a fire pit.
Yeah,
How big is the fire pit?
about 8 feet in diameter. It's just a bunch of rocks with a hole in it.
And the pool couldn't go there?
That's too close to I think that's too close to the septic system. So I guess what I have to do is get information from Farmington Valley.
Yeah, the concern is, that we usually have is why specifically that place? Why can it not go anywhere else? And that's usually, say your lot dropped off, or you knew definitely the septic system was there. Because that's basically, then you have to have it there. And I don't, without those questions being answered, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, does it really have to be there? So that's why I was asking.
Okay.
We need something for a hardship. Basically, what we're looking for is, like I said, if you had septic, your leach fields, your well cap, buried propane tank, things like that. We need topography, wetlands. We need some sort of thing for a hardship
Okay.
before we could make a decision, really.
All right.
If we were to defer this till next month, when he can come back with that information, do we do that now, or do we do that? Okay. Would you be okay with that? Here's the thing, Mr. Caruso, we can either say, we really want that information, so we can just defer this till next month and have you come back. You
Yep.
don't have to reapply, nothing like that. You'll just be part of the agenda for next month, and then you'll be able to provide us with that information.
Okay.
Is that acceptable,
Yeah,
or?
that's acceptable.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Oh,
Abby Kenny, Director of Community Development. So just to clarify, so the public hearing notice was read into the record, so the board is deciding to keep the public hearing open, so it will be continued to the September meeting, just for those who might be watching this later.
Yes.
In your memo to us, I think there's a word missing.
Okay,
It should be 148 feet
okay.
from the property line. It just says it's 104, setback 148 from the front property.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you could infer.
Oh, no, that's
Yeah, no,
correct.
you got that right, yeah.
You're right, I'm looking at
It
that.
just for clarity.
Yes, yeah, that would be the distance. Thank you.
And then, Madam Chair, you're so sweet. That's what he was asking about, that's the 202 pool in the next property over?
To the left.
Behind the house.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to make sure I was seeing this correctly. That is the pool behind their house.
Right,
Yes, that's an
yes.
over.
Yeah,
And his
yeah.
pool is between the
Correct.
house. Okay, yeah, I just want
Correct.
to make sure I was reading that.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes. Yep. Okay, so next we have an appeal by Mary Gobelli. I'm sorry. That's okay.
I butchered, I butchered it also, sorry, my apologies.
Okay, we ask that you come up to the podium and
My name is Charles Nash. I'm Mary's husband. I live at 73 Bushy Hill Road. We had a garage installed. In the process, we've been talking to 2 or 3 other garage companies. I also came into the town and talked about putting a garage on the side of the house that it is not on. And between wetlands, the well head, which is right there where it would be, and the sewer in the back. We decided to have the garage put on the other side. Under misunderstanding and me going through cancer treatments, we miscommunicated with the people that we decided on the garage. And Clotter Farms came in, did the pad. After I had removed the pool from the original place, which already had a variance. The pool is in a smaller footprint than the pool and the patio that was there before. So we had to put the garage was installed. And it's a trailer garage, so it's not a foundation anywhere. It's 20 by 24.
okay, it is definitely, because there was some confusion about that.
Yes, I know. The print that came in from Clotter Farm, that's all they had was a standard print. And mine is 20 by 24. The footage that I was told by my surveyor, because he can't get out there, we measured between the 2 pins that he had installed. And from the back corner, it is 13 feet to the string. From the front, it's 16 feet from the string. The old pool was 11 feet, and it was 14 feet before. And I have pictures of the existing fencing and all that was there before, and it's now on a smaller footprint.
So the issue about installing requesting a permit, I had noticed that in March of 2023, you had gone in for a permit for a shed, which is, you did install that shed.
Yes, but that was done in 2023.
Did you have any kind of conversation at that time that where you were going to be putting in this garage? It really,
Oh, no, we had no idea at that time.
you had no idea
No,
you were, okay. And so if,
and that's when we discovered that we had the well and sewer, and we also had the wellhead, because we had to be careful for when they came in to deliver it.
but if you knew in 2023 you needed a permit for a shed, why didn't you think you needed one then for a garage?
I knew I needed one for the garage, but we were talking to 3 or 4 different other garage companies, and the only one that didn't pull a permit, which is a builder, which was Clotter Farms, and we didn't know, but we were told by the other 3 that they would take care of the permit for us. And somehow we got misinformation and we just missed that step. And nobody told us that they didn't have a permit for the garage.
Okay. But you're also, the area you put this garage in isn't big enough. So, how did that happen?
I don't misunderstand what
The
you're saying.
reason you're here is you're not only asking for a permit, but you need a variance because you're too close to your side yard. You're within the setbacks. You're supposed to be within a certain amount of
Yes.
feet. You're not.
Yes, I understand that. That's why we're asking for the variance.
There's no place because of where the well is, and then. Could you please come up here and?
I'm Mary Goldley. When Joel came out and we needed to put the shed in for our lawnmowers and that type of equipment, he said it was under a certain amount of feet, and he said, you can only put the shed right here. He said, but you can't put anything with a pad because that side is the wellhead, the engineered system, the fall off is closer to wetlands. And so at that point, we had no idea that what we would have or what we would go through. So we misunderstood, like Charles said, we had other vendors. And Clover Farm said nothing to us about not having a permit that day, nor it was just a misunderstanding because we assured that since it was going to be a smaller footprint, anyway, we told them we didn't want anything the same size. We wanted something smaller, just to garage the 2 cars. That's it.
But that wouldn't be their, I've seen Cloder Farms paperwork, and they actually clearly say you're responsible for the permit.
I don't know if we missed that going through his cancer. I don't know.
So,
We've been through 2 health crises within 23 and 24, so.
Cloder Farms, they come in, they drop off the shed.
Yes,
What
first they
right
came in
now
and did the
would-
stone pad, and then they came and
Correct.
dropped the building the next, I think it was like 7 or 8 days later.
So right now, if they were to come in and move this shed,
To where?
that's what we need you to tell us. Because I'm looking at the blueprint, and unfortunately, the blueprint doesn't have any distances. And I also don't see any,
You submitted, didn't you?
Yes.
it doesn't show, it says approximate septic tank, because your well is in the front, so it shows the approximate septic tank, but we don't, which shows way over here. It doesn't show any leach fields or anything, so,
Well, it's not a leach field, they're manifolds,
They're manifolds.
or mantises, they're called.
something is a leach field.
They're mantises. They're 10 foot off the back corner of the deck that was put in by the prior
Probably too close to the wetlands, that traditional leach field.
the prior owners.
That's right.
Yeah, but the concrete teepees.
Where's that other?
So is that the concrete teepee system you're talking about? You don't have a traditional leach field?
Can I-
I mean,
Please.
Yep, please.
they're not concrete.
So, help me here, Tom.
I'm looking, so that's, now, is this like an overflow tank, or is this a gravel base, or what is the?
There's the
That's a
tank,
yep,
there's a tank, and then there's 2 manifolds that go
Yep.
off to each side of the house.
okay. And the manifolds just serve the purpose of,
Displacing the water.
okay. And how about the solid waste obviously just stays in the
It stays in the
tank?
tank, and we just had it drained to the other, couple
Okay.
weeks ago.
And how wide across is this? Is this with the
Yeah, 30.
35 feet, 45 feet.
They can't do anything in the back.
No, and then behind that, let's see, I don't know where we are here.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I understand. No, I'm good. This is
The wetlands.
this
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
okay, right along here is a culvert, and this is all wetlands right along in here.
Okay, so it's.
The back is the septic.
The back is the septic, is right here,
Overflow tanks going.
runs right back here.
So the left is not
And the
around.
wellhead is right here. Actually, it's actually right about here. We found that out when we
Where the
were,
hardship is.
Literally just the distance.
And you know how wide your back is? 160 all the way down?
well, on a
The
trapezoid,
Right.
the frontage is 164.
right.
Right.
And the back is 160.
But it's also not,
Now, Cloder Farms has a buyback, correct?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
The other thing is that it's diagonal.
And they see it.
Oh, got it.
Anybody else? Any questions?
So you said the pool was 14 feet, the back corner of the pool was 14 feet from the property line?
It was actually 11 feet.
Okay, 11 feet the pool was.
And then there was a fence on the outside of that. And they had put pavers all the way around everywhere's back there. And they found somebody that wanted it. He had an autistic child and they took the whole thing, fence and everything. They took all of it.
Wow.
Took them a few truckloads, but they got it all out of there.
Does anyone have any other questions for this applicant?
Oh, how about your abutter, let's see.
Well, we'll get to the opposition.
Oh, we're not, well, I just had a question about for his neighbor. Did the Hinmans, did the Hinmans have any input on this, or any discussion with you about it?
No, apparently not to us directly.
Orion's have a lot, there's a lot of.
Oh, okay.
All right, no other questions for the applicant?
So there was a variant for the pool. The pool was there, pool got removed. Now the garage is there, which is in violation due to a distance, right? This is kind of what we're talking about.
Okay, is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this applicant? On behalf of, I'm sorry, you must be, no? Nobody on behalf of, okay. Is there anyone to speak in opposition of?
Thank you.
Is this another one?
Good evening, John Oates, 79 Bushy Hill Road. The purpose of the communication in front of you and my commentary tonight is to offer comments in opposition to the request for the variance at 73 Bushy Hill Road. I appreciate the diligence that the Town Zoning Board of Appeals takes to provide guidance for filing and granting a variance. your documents and the relevant state statutes are very carefully detailed and describe what factors are necessary to declare hardship. With all due respect to the applicant, it appears from my lens that there is no hardship. The applicant lists the location of the septic system and the well as a hardship. The septic was recently improved, which had to be, and everyone in the neighborhood has had to do the same thing, and located in the rear yard. And obviously that's not a useful location for a garage. However, the well is located in the front yard near the southeastern corner of the dwelling. Using the dimensions supplied by the applicant, it does appear that the garage would fit in that other side yard, on the southern side yard, and be compliant with existing zoning regulations, including setback and side yard requirements. While not mentioned in that document, it appears that 5 feet is the distance away from a well to remain, as long as it is not downhill and near a source of pollution. 5 feet is adequate. I'd also note that the amended section of the Connecticut Building Code requires garage floor surfaces to be of approved non-combustible material if they're storing an automobile. Additionally, for storage of vehicles, the applicant, as the applicant wishes, must be sloped towards the main vehicle entry. And you wonder, well, what does that have to do with zoning? Well, in order to comply, there is a variance and an exception in the building code that allows that garage and vehicle storage on a wood floor garage. But the garage has to be 10 feet away from the dwelling. So if that garage was moved 10 feet away from the dwelling, which it's currently not, that would push it even further into the side yard, towards the neighbor, and at that point may be close to that drainage swale that the town approved many years ago. Note there is a process to apply for a waiver of that requirement of the building code, but that's not under local purview and must be decided by the Office of State Building Official. Finally, as noted in the staff memo, even if the variance is approved, additional action may be needed relative to the impact to the wetlands. So taking into consideration the above in totality, I'm not in favor of the requested variance. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Do you have anything to say in rebuttal to his comments, or?
From my understanding, the garage was built to state specs. It's called a garage. You're going to tell me that every garage is built by these company is not built by certain specifications? As far as the liquid pouring out of my garage, it's a 50th anniversary Corvette and a 1985 Corvette. There's nothing going to be pouring out of it. I have all the work done by a garage. The only thing I do to it is polish it. I don't even wash the car there. As far as the wetlands, the only thing I can say about the wetlands is there's more water pouring off the street that comes into my property, which dumps into the back of my yard and floods my backyard. As of now, after this rainstorm, all the street comes down, goes into the gutter, and goes into the backyard. Nothing comes out of my garages.
What was your name again, sir?
Charles Nash.
Thank you.
He's the co-applicant. Nash.
Nash.
N-A-S-H.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there any others?
All right, anybody else?
Sort of. My husband emailed you guys. He signed the deployment with the Navy. Hi, Danielle Schwanek, 75 Bushy Hill. My husband emailed you guys earlier last week. Is in the meeting.
That's in the packet, yeah, that's the note.
We are the direct neighbor.
Yeah.
So our concern is our septic with the runoff from the concrete pad that they had poured in front of this garage, the runoff from the roof into the swale, because everything drains into the swale, which goes down our property and everything is wet. Obviously, we just got all this rain this past week,
But we just got our septic replaced 3 years ago, 2021, and we're just concerned about all the excess runoff from all these flat surfaces. The concrete pad in front of the garage roof, and the patio behind the garage, which is all brand new this summer. So, and there was no communication, no asking us for a variance, no communicating with us that this was even being done. So that's our concern. And just want to make sure you guys got Matt's email.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got that.
actually,
Yeah.
I thought for some reason the name was Hinman on that letter, so I'm totally confused.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Got it. All right. All right. Anyone else to speak? Okay, at this time then, I would like to close the public speaking. And so now we as the board, we're going to discuss it. There's no more further communication. You can stay here, listen to our discussion. Otherwise, you'll get mailed our decision. Okay? 7:31, meeting is closed. All right. The letter they're talking about, did you see it?
No, I did not.
Okay, it's,
Sorry, I got the old sucker, big sucker.
yeah, no, there's this
This
one
one.
then.
Okay.
This is the one she's,
I'm not.
I have all kinds of notes on mine. You guys read that letter, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. I have it here.
It has a ball blow right here. Yes. It's the yellow. Got it. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. What do you guys think? Ever-
Question,
Yep.
just
Yeah,
whether or
let me
not we
back up a sec.
grant this variance tonight, he would still then have to get a permit?
Correct.
And the permit would go into some of these other things that have been discussed tonight, but are not before us.
Like, one of the things that I can tell you is one of the people mentioned about the 10-foot not being between the two buildings. That is like the state of Connecticut. And actually, I did discuss that with Abby. They would have, if it's granted in the permit and everything, how they get around that is they have to put 5/8 plywood, all kind of lining the inside of the garage.
But that would be up to the building inspector?
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem I have is that, obviously they didn't apply for the permit. And while I understand they have issues with where they need to put the placement of this, if it had been at least brought to us before it was built, maybe we could have closed some of these neighbors' concerns. For an example, the garages and gutters. If there had been a way to deviate the water, would that have satisfied the neighbors?
I think the water is supposed to go into the swale, and according to this, it was stated that it won't have any impact on anything.
What, because you're saying.
Yeah, it
person,
would
right?
run off on the swale. And certainly, I can appreciate the concern about the septic for the neighbor. But there's nothing here stating that it will have an effect. So I mean, if we saw something that said it was, whoever installed that septic system says if this happens, this will happen.
Right.
And that would be one story. But we don't have that.
I guess I just have a concern too is, I hate to say it, but, ignorance is not an excuse. They knew that they needed a permit for a shed. And to just think you can swap out a pool for a garage. This is why we have this stuff in place. And I'm not convinced it can't go on the other side of the house
Yeah, on
either.
the left side, looks like there would be room.
Right, I mean, he said wetlands, but we don't have any proof of that either.
Look, the map, this one, this wetlands one, the dotted,
Yep.
so that one, that's
Yep.
definitely far enough away from, if you went to the left side, there'd
Right.
still be plenty of setback away from the wetlands.
Correct. I mean, again, you know, the granting of variances is supposed to be like what you just brought up with the pool. You have to show us a hardship. Why exactly does it have to go there? And I'm not seeing it when there's another spot.
Do we want to do a table on this and see if they can come back and tell us if they could fit it there? Give them the option, because if it's a floater, they can, if it's moved once, they can move it again. So at least it wouldn't be the hardship of not having, you know, is that a way around it, to see if they could fit it over here?
Table it until they come back
Yeah.
with,
If
more.
I can, so the public hearing is closed, so you can't accept any new testimony from anyone, including the applicant. So if you
Correct.
need additional information, you'd have to decide tonight, and then it would be a new application.
application. So we would have to deny it, basically, and they would have to reapply.
Because we just don't know, right? We don't know if they can.
Well, I just, at this moment, yeah, we don't know, but again, we have to kind of go with what we have right now.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't have it, so better be safe than sorry.
We don't really have topography of this section over here, do we?
No.
And none of the pictures I've been looking at show what the topography of the land looks like.
No.
On that side of the house.
And it, you know, it is something to also take into consideration, to your point, one previous meeting was when the neighbors were happy with that, that kind of swayed your vote. We have two oppositions clearly here. So, do we take that, I'm sorry, I'm turning this way. Do we take that into consideration?
I certainly take the neighbors' concerns very seriously. I also very much trust the town engineer, and what they have to say about drainage. But I just feel like this isn't quite all the way there to get an approval. There's
Well,
a
the cart
question.
was put, you know, what's that expression? The cart was put before the horse.
Yes.
And our hands were kind of tied with any kind of suggestions or trying to work with them, trying to work with the neighbors.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the town engineer said that it won't have any effect on drainage, but are we at liberty to request, like, the neighbor had a concern about their new septic system? Are we at liberty to request additional information on that to see if that would in fact, you know, whoever installed the septic system could say, yeah, this will have an effect on the system, or it won't? Can we ask that? I guess I mean, it's a
Yep,
question.
that would be, I just don't know how you would determine that. That's a good question.
Abby Kenyon, Director of Community Development. So when it comes to requesting additional information, it should be whether or not there's a hardship about the property that justifies granting the variance. So I understand the concerns about kind of adjacent properties, but the issue is this property at hand in terms of the variance request.
Okay.
Okay.
If we deny this request today because we don't feel we have enough information about the hardship, and whether or not the other side of the property would be suitable, would they be required to move the garage, or can they simply reapply with additional information? And what's the effect of our denying tonight? Because I'd hate to see them well, now you have to tear it down, when what we really want is more information.
So if the board denies this variance and requests that the applicant reapply looking at the other side, the building official wouldn't take any enforcement action in the interim. The letter was included in the packet regarding action that could be taken, but certainly understanding that the applicant is working on it, it's unlikely that he would make them remove it and then, come back to ZBA and then potentially bring it back. So there would be some level of understanding with that. Contingent upon, of course, that the applicant is responsive and would submit an application in time for the September meeting, I think is a reasonable expectation.
Okay. Well, and then that opens a whole nother can of worms, because if they sit there and they say, it's gonna cost us money, that becomes a financial hardship, and
That's not.
that's not a hardship.
Right.
So. Any other comments?
From my perspective, while I'm very sympathetic to the applicant having a family member going through similar situations, this is about property hardship.
Correct.
And, at least when I've been here, I've tried to be consistent. Do we see a hardship or not? And a financial hardship, as we heard last month, is not a reason. And I can't see, listening to the concerns of the neighbors, looking at what information Abby has provided us, I can't see what that hardship is. Again, I'm sympathetic, but I just personally can't see the hardship as defined by your state or city rules.
Okay.
Same.
So are we ready to vote?
Someone's gonna make a
A motion?
motion.
I could make a motion that we deny the variance request with the understanding that we would request the applicant to resubmit in a timely manner and withhold enforcement action, or request that the zoning officer delay any enforcement action while pending a new submittal.
Can we put that in about the No, right? Because that's his job, and that's a little out of our.
Okay.
Yeah.
We shouldn't direct the applicant what to do,
Correct.
I don't think.
No, we're just basically,
Again, last month you didn't like my motion, you said I was being negative, but I would make a motion to deny the permit.
just based on the lack of.
any identified hardship.
Correct.
And let Abby do all the discussion with,
All right,
as necessary.
so
Okay.
take a vote? Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes. All right. For a count of 5-0, this variance has been denied. Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn the
So
meeting?
moved.
Second.